Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Sports Blitz. It's episode number 55. I can't believe it, man. I'm Doug. We have Robbie here. Robbie, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. We have had quite the little run of shows with some amazing guests the last couple episodes, and they have just been awesome. But now it's just back to the OG Sports Blitz. Me and Doug just holding it down for you over however long this goes. And I'm ready, Doug. By the way, if you're under that rock or that cave, welcome. And maybe not quite time to go. Maybe not quite time. Yeah, OG, exactly. Doug throwing the letters into the chat. But yeah, it's great to be here and just fired up for episode 55.
Absolutely. Definitely. Last week, Robbie, was phenomenal.
Yes.
It was fabulous.
Shout out to Matt Noon,
That's
baseball
right.
coach.
Matt,
Awesome,
thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome. It was great. The stories were great. I'm actually
contacting. You love the Red Sox story. You love the Red Sox stories.
I could listen to him.
You could do an entire episode just on his Red Sox stories alone.
I want him back on just so he can talk about stories. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Yeah,
I love those Red Sox stories just because he was around. He's been around for 19 years on the Red Sox. Doing some batting stuff, right? He does he's
16
batting coach.
16
years.
Yeah.
So he's been around for a long time, and he's got tons and tons of stories, which is awesome. And listen to him all night. Just tell us stories about the big Poppy and all those great Red Sox wins, especially the ones in New York, which he was there. Which is awesome. But anyway, definitely a shout out to Matt Noon. Thanks for coming on last week. We've had a run of great guests. If you don't know our show and this is the first time you're coming out of your rock,
welcome.
How you doing? You might want to go back in until maybe next summer. But if you don't know our show, this is how we do it. This is how we roll. We just roll with some sports, talk about different subjects. If you hear something. Yes. You hear something like I'm about to tell you. This is how we do it. Yes, this is exactly how we do it. Robbie and I have the chat going, and what we do is we say certain things in the chat, and if you hear something and you're like, what the heck was that? It was probably in the chat. So speaking of chatting, let's just dive right in, Robbie. Let's go with our actually a team that's playing tonight. Second game is our Boston Celtics. Let's talk about not this game because they are little update. It's halftime, right?
It's about to start the third quarter with the Celtics holding a 13-point lead, 60-47 in Game 2 versus the Heat.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first game first. Actually, good idea. Robbie, what did you
makes sense to me?
What did you think about the first game?
Let's see. Where do I start? It was basically 85% of it was good, and then the last 15, or the most important 15%, I should say, was horrific. It was sloppy. It was flawed. It was frustrating. It was all of the above. I mean, this team had a double-digit lead well into the second half, and then basically decided that they were going to just throw caution to the wind and start throwing up threes and, having sloppy turnovers and just all the things that you do not want to do when you have a double-digit lead in a playoff game in the second half. And credit to Miami. They took advantage. They came back, forced overtime, and then ended up pulling out in overtime. So just a very, very frustrating game for the Celtics, but really kind of showed some of the issues that have been plaguing this team all season when it comes to closing out games, which we'll get into here. But yeah, just
Wait, Robbie, hold on. Wait, excuse me, what? Oh, wait, I have a water girl here. Hold on. Can you come on, well, no, whatever. If you want to, totally in. This is the water girl right here. You gotta go over here. Oh, look, it's
special surprise guest. Yes,
surprise guest. She brought me my water, which is really cool. Thank you so much.
That was very nice.
It was very nice to bring me water because I'm parched. But yes,
I got
she
mine.
brought me my
I got
water.
mine too, by the way.
Yeah, see, we all got water. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it was very important that we.
Yeah. Totally priorities. No, I was just saying that it was really a game that sort of encompassed a lot of the issues that we've been having with the Celtics. As Ryan Q, Marcus Smart takes 3 and misses. But yeah, like I said, just a very disappointing, frustrating game, and hopefully they can bounce back tonight, which, right now they're up by 12. But again, we'll have to see how they close it out down the stretch. But yeah, just very, very frustrating game one, really.
Yeah, I thought it was too, especially the last 2 minutes, and then the last 2 minutes of the, obviously we had to go into overtime. So it was one of those things where I just, I guess I understand the game of today, and we were talking about that earlier. I understand what today's game is all about. It's all about shooting threes. It's all about, shooting outside shots. But the fact is that if you're tied and you got the ball and you have 18 seconds left or 16 seconds left on the clock, are you going to shoot that three? Or do you want to do like they did not the old days, but they've been doing for the longest time, which is to give it to Kemba Walker and let him drive in and get a foul.
Yeah.
Now, is it
or
possible?
Or at worst, one of those little step back, jumpers.
Right.
I mean, he's shown he can hit the mid-range shot so well. I mean, why not attack at the very least? Give yourself a chance for a little mid-range jumper at the bar rather than a 3-pointer from Arkansas, as you alluded to off air, or Alabama, right. One of those states.
It was Arkansas.
Yeah. But yeah,
long range.
It was
way past the 3-point.
It was just really, like I said, just really frustrating that they basically stopped doing what has really made them successful. And that's attacking the basket, at the very least, like you said, drawing fouls, and or at the best, getting easy layups or dunks or whatever the case may be. I mean, it just every time they settle for a three, I just am shaking my head. I'm just yelling at my television. I mean, it's unbelievable. The simplest thing seems to be so difficult for them to comprehend.
Yeah, we just talked about Kemba Walker a few minutes ago. Wanted to ask you your opinion of him in this, not just this series, but the last series too. He hasn't really played.
Yeah,
hasn't really played up to his potential.
No.
What do you think the issue is there?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think that
think he's hurt.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. That's what I wonder, is that maybe he's he's sort of playing through pain. Obviously, we know sort of that he's been dealing with some injury issues this season, which is why they sort of really limited him during the end of the regular season, so he could be good to go for this playoff run. But you really don't know, sort of under the surface how his status is in terms of how he's feeling on a game-to-game basis. But yeah, he definitely has been struggling. Yes, you are limited in different ways than Kemba Walker. So am I, for that matter. But yeah, it just you just don't know, and it has been kind of disappointing to watch. I mean, Kemba, is one of those guys who, I mean, when he's on, he basically takes over a game and really, really ups your chances of winning the game when he's when he's on, and to sort of see him be struggling like this, is definitely frustrating, especially given, where we are in terms of the playoffs. So, I would not be surprised if maybe he's feeling a little something, beneath the surface that he's not really letting on about. You just don't know, but it definitely has not been the Kemba of the regular season that we've been seeing.
Yeah, I see I see the possibility of some kind of nagging injury or the injury he had before, and is probably just trying to play through it. He also has not, and I can't say he's nervous. I mean, nervous is probably the wrong word. He's never gotten this far.
Yeah, I mean, he
Never
definitely has
ever gotten this
experience
far
in terms of this far in the playoffs.
Yes, he's an experienced veteran, but he's not a veteran of the playoffs, a deep playoff one. Anyway.
Now I will say this to that point is that if you're gonna make your first sort of deep run like this sort of venue may actually be one of sort of on the I hate to say easier side, but I mean you're basically, it's not like your first deep run you're having to go on the road and play, in front of opposing fan bases,
a hostile crowd,
a hostile road environment. I mean, you're basically playing in a bubble in front of maybe friends and family, if that. I know they just allowed those sort of guests to come in for these later rounds, but I think that definitely you can't really make the crowd sort of argument because there is no crowd.
Right, it's just noise.
Just noise. Just some background noise.
I think. Hey, listen. On that point, Robbie, I think they've done exceptionally well.
Oh yeah.
With the bubble itself, but I think they've done exceptionally well with the fact that they do have a little bit of crowd noise. I think the digital people that are there and all that kind of stuff is looks a little strange, but I understand why they have it to kind of mimic fans. So I totally get that. But that's a little strange to me. But
especially when they're like all off cue, like when they're basically cheering something that happened like 10 seconds ahead of time or beforehand. I mean, it's like it's very.
I guess there's a section, Robbie, with real fans. There's a section that has real fans. They don't know when they're going to be on, so they just keep going like yay, yay, and they don't have no idea when they're going to be on. So they just keep doing it for the whole time that they're there, and all of a sudden that they're on.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever know that they're on, but they're on a Zoom, and that's how they do it. I think.
Yeah.
Or some kind of digital enhancement or something like that. I don't really know, but I think there's. For some reason, Kemba's just a little off because he's not playing the way he typically plays. Thanks. First of all, I said that Robbie called me limited, and then I called him hostile. And he said, "You don't know anything. You're a little off." Thanks. I am a little off. We're both, but that's okay. That's what makes us great. So, get back to Kemba. I think Kemba should be a key to this playoff, and if they make it to the finals, he needs to step up. He really does, and I have full confidence that he probably will, unless he's genuinely hurt.
Hold on, breaking news here. Kemba just got knocked to the floor on a rebound, and he's now currently holding his head, lying on the floor. So
okay, so let me retract that as we go to real time. Let me move back. Okay, so I rewound that all the way back. So what I think is I think that Jason Tatum and Jalen are the keys to us winning this particular series and maybe even this game. So I don't think Kemba's going to be much of a factor. He may be, he may not be. I don't know. So we just have to find out whether his head has detached from his body and is rolling down the court, or is it the fact that he just got kind of hit and he probably
he walked off under his own power, and I think he
went right sign.
Went right back into the locker room. So we'll see.
Okay,
but he kind of got like sort of knocked to the floor, and we'll hope he's okay. It's
unbelievable.
It's great the fact that Ray's you're talking about him, all of a sudden he just gets hurt.
It's just the way 2020 has been. I'm just telling you, that's just the way it is.
Oh yeah,
you never know what's around the corner because you got to look behind you and make sure there's nothing. Is there anything over there, Robbie?
No, surprisingly not.
Wait, is Kemba over there? Okay, so
Jason Tatum, is that you?
Jason Tatum, is that you?
Yeah. He's not walking through that door.
To invert that a little bit, Jason Tatum has been playing off the hook. Inverting. Yes, I'm inverting right now. Jason Tatum's been playing off the hook, Robbie. What do you think of Jason Tatum, man?
Yeah, he's been very impressive. I think maybe in like he has had moments. I'm not gonna say that he's been perfect. I think he has had some moments where he's again kind of to this point of sort of settling for threes or being kind of sloppy. I think he's definitely been guilty of that. But no, I think he has really been impressive on both ends of the floor. I really have enjoyed watching him play during this bubble time and during this postseason. So no, I think he's doing a good job.
Yes. Robbie, let's a perfect example. The dunk that never happened.
Oh, by the way, Kemba is back in the game. So
okay, so can I say what I said before?
You can say whatever you want. It's a free country.
I'm just saying. No, I know. We're talking about Jason Tatum now. We can get back to him in a little bit. But Robbie, let's talk about the dunk that never happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the one that was could have won the game the other night.
I know, but still, I love the fact that he decided to do that versus take an outside shot.
Yeah, I know.
He's like, I'm going to go in, and I don't care what I need to do to do it.
You're right. It worked out perfectly. The problem was that there was just a Heat player there to block it.
Yes, probably I would think probably the best block that I've seen. I would think this century.
That was a really good block.
I'm 120 years old. So
I thought you were 130, but
when I was 20, it was the beginning of the century, so it was different. No. So I just thought his decision making is so much better than it was. I mean, it's not rookie like anymore. It's this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it because I think it's the right thing to do. Yeah. So I think that it's I think his decision making is incredible, and Jaylen Brown needs to step up in the series.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown needs to step up. I'm sorry, absolutely. But he's a great player, and he needs to take over in certain situations and not lay it all on Tatum and not lay it all on Kemba.
He definitely needs to play a little bit more up to his potential. I think
the last series he played off the hook.
I think you had a lot of very strong performances in the last series. I mean, you look at guys, yeah, exactly. But you look at guys like, Marcus Smart. I mean, just you want to talk about, just impressive play. I mean, Marcus Smart just has been unreal this entire postseason, and just even in the game one loss, looked very, very solid. And what a big play by Smart, helping in Game 7 against Toronto, with that block that kind of helped to sew up that series.
Definitely Marcus Smart is definitely if there's one defensive key,
it's Marcus Smart. Yeah,
it's Marcus Smart.
Oh yeah,
Marcus Smart is definitely the key, and I think he's going to be the key to the series too.
Absolutely. I mean, he's already shown it. Like even in one, he looked impressive. In the losing effort. No, Marcus Smart, and that's why people were saying, and I kind of want to get your take on this because I was listening to good old sports talk radio the other day, which is always dangerous, I know, but they were talking about if Hayward comes back at some point this series, do you reinsert him into the starting five, or do you sort of keep it as is and bring Hayward off the bench? And my personal opinion, before I get to yours, is that I say you absolutely leave Smart in the starting five and bring Hayward off the bench at least to start up with. But I want to get your take on it.
My take is that you keep Marcus Smart in the starting lineup. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's the one he's one of the guys that got you here.
Yeah.
So if you change that dynamic, that's not going to be a good thing if you change the dynamic. And put it this way, is Hayward really going to be ready to be a starter? I don't think so. I think they got to get him in slowly.
Yeah.
And to get him in slowly would be to get him in off the bench. Is he going to be the decision maker? Is he going to be the be-all, end-all? I hate to say it, Robbie, but he's not. He's not. And you know what? He hasn't been since he's been here.
They got here without him. They don't need him in the starting lineup to win these games and win these series. They really don't.
He's a good player.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good player. But
he can help, but he's not the end-all, be-all.
He can help, but he's not a Marcus Smart. He's not a Tatum. He's not a Brown. He's not a Kemba. Okay? He's just not.
On a number of different levels.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I think what I'm saying is that it's not something that is so imperative that if for some reason he can't play, it's going to be detrimental to the team, because it's not.
Oh, no, definitely won't. No.
That's why I think that he shouldn't start. He should be off the bench. I'm going to tell you a thing right. Yeah, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. Hayward is a bench player. Sorry, but that's what he is. He's not a starter anymore. He was a good starter. He's not a starter anymore. He's a great player off the bench. That was not one thing. That was many things, but that's okay. He's just not a starter anymore. He's a good player off the bench. That'd be great to have his shooting off the bench. That'd be phenomenal. But when it comes to starting, he doesn't deserve to start over Marcus Smart at all. Sorry, he just doesn't.
No, you're right. I'm in complete agreement. Agreement. I mean, so it should be Smart over Hayward 10 times out of 10.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think tonight's game is definitely a must win for the Celtics.
And by the way, currently up 10 with 6 minutes left in the third.
You cannot go 2-0 in the bubble. It's like going 3-0 on a regular surface. And that's not from me. That's from Brian Scalabrine. Not from me at all. You just can't go up. You can't get down. You can't go down to a 2-0.
No, especially against a team that you should beat. You should be. You definitely should be able to beat this Miami team.
Yes.
I mean, you should have beat them the other night. If you collapse 2 games in a row with double-digit leads and can't pull out either single game, you don't deserve to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sorry, but you don't.
No, absolutely not.
You don't deserve to be there. You deserve everything that you get. By the way, they're now up 6 as Jay Crowder just got a 4-point play. But yeah, you gotta find a way to pull tonight's game out. Period. End of story.
Yeah. So let me. Jay Crowder's not that great of a player. He's okay with us, but. Anyway, he shoots free.
Tice is down too. Great.
He's all right. So what? The next question I have for you, Robbie, is the last game. I wanted to ask you. Do you put some of the blame on Brad Stevens? I know that's a hard thing to say because Brad doesn't play, but he does have the plays. he does talk to the guys
I
about what
think
this is,
no.
what this
I
is, and
think
what that is.
I think that you. I don't think he. I definitely don't think he's absolved of all blame for that loss or some of these tougher losses in the bubble. I think that some of the play calling has been suspect. If that's the right word to use. I mean, I think. Listen, I love Brad Stevens. I think he's a great coach. I mean, he is a big reason positively why we are here. However, he definitely does not. He definitely does not get absolved of blame when it comes to losing some of these games. Yes, I am the suspect always. I think that obviously you're right. He cannot go out and play, and I think that he definitely prepares these guys well. I think overall, he puts them in or at least does his best to put them in the best position to win. But I also think sometimes he does. Sometimes his play calling and whatnot definitely leaves something to be desired. But no, I definitely think he shoulders some of the play. I don't think it's the majority by any means, but he definitely is not absolved of blame whatsoever.
Yeah, because some people in the sports world and even on sports radio, there are some people that are calling for his head. And I'm like, dude, well, why? And then Brian Scalabrine says this morning, he says on one of the sports stations, he says there'll be 29 teams looking to get Brad Stevens because Brad's a great coach. I mean, you have to you have to figure out kind of how he's doing something, and then Jermaine Wiggins says, "Well, I'd rather have Doc Rivers."
Jermaine Wiggins needs to stick to football. Stick to football, Jermaine Wiggins. What does Jermaine Wiggins know about the NBA and know about NBA coaching? I mean, who are we going to trust, Brian Scalabrine or Jermaine Wiggins? Let me think about that for about 2 seconds. Yeah, that's like saying, that's like talking about football and saying, who do we trust? Bill Belichick or Claude Julian. I mean, that's like, it doesn't make any sense. By the way, Miami has cut the lead to 1 and they have the ball. So starting to get a little nervous here as Miami now takes the lead. Great.
So the fact is that
it was a 12-point game 2 minutes ago. And it's now a 2-point Miami lead. This is fantastic.
I know. That's great. So what it comes down to is I think what Wiggins was talking about, and I think he kind of reiterated what he was talking about. What he was talking about was the fact that Doc Rivers, played the game of basketball, and that he is, one of those guys who's one of those veterans who decides to go and coach, and he was a great coach, which is great. But the fact is that, I think that this is the kind of team that Brad Stevens needs to have. And let's talk about Doc Rivers, Robbie. Let's talk about Doc Rivers and the fact that this is how many times has he lost a series in the Clippers?
What a collapse by the Clippers.
With the Clippers.
I mean,
they were up
3-1. You want to talk about choke jobs? I mean,
they were up 3-1.
What a choke job. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Paul George. I mean, you have arguably the best team in the Western Conference, minus maybe the Lakers, and you can't close out the Denver Nuggets when you're up 3-1. I mean, that was just brutal. And you're telling me we want this guy over Brad
Stevens, who's
gotten us to the conference finals, by the way, what, 3 times?
3 times, right.
How many conference finals have the Clippers been to in that time period? That would be 0. Big old double zippos. Yeah.
Exactly. I think Jermaine likes to I
He
think
likes
he
to
likes
stir
to
the
say
pot.
stuff.
He likes to stir the
I
pot.
know he likes to say stuff just to say stuff. So I know he does that. I'd love to have him on our show, man. We could ever get him. That'd
If
be
you
awesome.
could get Jermaine Wiggins on this show, that
What?
would be the get of our careers.
What you gonna give me if I give Jermaine Wiggins? No, never.
I don't know.
I'll try to get Jermaine on the show. So anyway, so I think I don't know what's going to happen tonight. So far, they're doing exactly what they did in the last game. So
do you feel like whenever this team, part of it is like whenever this team like gets a little bit of pressure put on in these situations, they tend to sort of go into panic mode for some reason. Definitely, it just feels like that game in, game out. When they get a little bit of pressure put on, they just for some reason tend to go in this panic mode, which I don't get because because there's really no need for it.
or is it the complete opposite of that, which is once they get a 14, 15-point lead, they relax. They're like, we got a 15-point lead. We're good.
It might be a combo of both. I think it might be a combo of just looking at some of the sloppiness, could be interpreted as that, but also could be a little bit interpreted as, sort of panicking. Maybe I think it may be a mixture of both.
Yeah, but if they're getting sloppy, Robbie, what does Brad Stevens need to do? Brad Stevens need to do? What does he need to do? We know what he needs to do. We've been in enough basketball games and teams and all kinds of stuff like that to know. And you don't have to be a professional player to know if you're getting sloppy, you call a freaking timeout.
Yeah.
Call a timeout. Settle them down.
I agree. Absolutely agree. By the way, Celtics are back up one with about 2 minutes left.
Oh, it's going to go like this for a quarter and a half.
And Kelly Olynyk just tried a three, but he missed, which go figure.
Sorry, George. Sorry, George.
Sorry, George.
Sorry, George.
Who is now
your favorite player.
Now apparently is on the Kelly Olynyk hype trade.
He's on the hype trade. Oh, he wasn't when we were at Rivers, man. He was totally against him when he was on our team.
Definitely not.
I don't like that long-haired guy. I don't think he knew his name. It was great. It was awesome. So let's turn our. I think we've. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, we'll obviously talk about this game. The game. As we're watching it. But we'll obviously talk about the series in more depth and that kind of thing.
No, I think we've exhausted.
Yeah, we definitely. So the next I'd like to talk about is.
I have them on. I have my my whole Boston sports team, so I think they're right around here.
Nice. Is that the Boston Strong shirt?
No, it's. Hold on, let me stand up for a second. It's the Boston team.
Oh, Boston team.
It's got all the
championship
banners. So many of them.
That's right. We're so spoiled.
We really are.
Yeah, we are. We're totally spoiled. But anyway, let's get on to our New England Patriots, who played this past Sunday, and
against the team from Miami.
Against the team from Miami, yes, as a matter of fact. So, Robbie, what are your first impressions about our new quarterback, our new team, our old team? What do you think?
I was impressed. I mean, it was not the cleanest game, and I think part of that has to do with sort of the
fact that they had no preseason games.
The difference of preseason this year in terms of training and the lack of preseason games. It was very refreshing to actually have a quarterback that can run the football. I thought that was pretty impressive. It definitely was weird on the first drive. All of a sudden, you've got Cam Newton running for consistent 10 to 12-yard pickups. I'm going like, wait, is this what this feels like to have a mobile quarterback? So that was very impressive. By the way, he had 2 of our 3 touchdowns. No, I thought on the ground he looked impressive. I have a lot of questions when it comes to his passing ability, sort of looking at the way he throws the ball. It's definitely not as crisp and as fluid looking as say a Tom Brady, but I thought the guy they used
I don't know who Tom Brady is.
Who's Tom Brady? But yeah, some guy that that we used to know. So I think that like I said, I think overall it was an impressive first game. Obviously, you've got to look at the opponent. I thought the defense played really well. I mean, Stephon Gilmore looked, like Stephon Gilmore. The fact that
That's because he is Stephon Gilmore.
I know. I said that. I realized. Wait a minute. But no. I thought he looked. He looked very.
Wait, are you sure Stephon Gilmore didn't look like
Maybe it was Jason
J.C.
McCourty.
Jackson? Are you
Jason
sure it wasn't
McCourty.
J.C. Jackson? Was it Jason or was it
Devin.
Jason?
I don't know.
Because Jason actually has a brother.
Yes.
And they actually look alike. So maybe Stephon Gilmore actually has a lookalike.
Anyway, Jason McCourty, Stephon Gilmore looked really impressive with holy cow, Kelly Olynyk just bagged to the 3. So yeah, Gilmore had a pick, looked very impressive, and just I was very glad to see the defense, playing up to the level that we're used to seeing. I thought they looked very sharp. Again, if it was against Miami, Jason typically just got called for a bogus offensive foul. So I was, like I said, I was very, I was impressed. I was cautiously impressed, is what I'll call it. I think that, there's still a lot of football left to be played, and we have a big test coming up. Obviously, by the way, now the third quarter just ended, and now the Celtics are down by 7. So go figure. So big fourth quarter coming up right here for the Green. Maybe they can sort of reverse now that they're down in the fourth quarter. Maybe they'll
reverse the curse.
Come back. Yeah. But yeah, they have a big test coming up Sunday night.
A big what?
You distracted me.
I distracted you. I'm not saying a word.
With your head shakes and all that fun stuff. I know. I should rebuke you like I just did. No. I think the Seattle game, I think, is going to be a lot more telling coming up on Sunday night because, I mean, obviously they have to go on the road, play always a very tough Seattle team, and I think we're going to know a lot more about, where this team is at come Sunday night than we do after this week 1 performance.
Oh, am I unmuted? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yes, you're unmuted.
That's so nice, Robbie. Thank you.
Anyway, sorry, no, I'm just kidding.
Not cool, man. Not cool.
You're good.
Not cool. So that was a whole lot of stuff, and like you did this whole in like 3 seconds, which totally makes sense. Cam Newton running the football, good test this coming weekend. All this stuff. Stephon Gilmore is Stephon Gilmore. Makes sense.
Just in case you were wondering, Doug, he is Stephon Gilmore. We can confirm he is Stephon Gilmore.
Wanted to ask you whether you think that Cam Newton running is going to be sustainable. Because this is why
that's the question.
So many times.
That's the question.
I think this is my personal opinion, right?
Yeah.
This coming weekend.
I'm glad that's somebody else's personal opinion.
It is. Come on over. Oh, sorry. I think in Seattle you're going to see less running by him and more throwing by him. Like him. Well, that's just my personal opinion.
No, it's
I think their defense
defense
is way too good. I think this is going to be a huge test. I have some questions about whether he's going to be able to sustain that. He will
Oh
run.
yeah.
If he
Oh
runs
yeah.
for 10, maybe 12 runs a game, I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with him running 25 to 30 because he's going to get hurt. And it's
Oh yeah.
and because he's a little older, and as long as he runs at the appropriate time, which is when there's nobody around, which is the best way to run, it may not happen. So he's got to figure out how to do it. He did have some good throws, though. I really like he threw to the tight end.
Izzo. There was
Izzo,
one that
Ryan
he
Izzo,
played to
Ryan.
Izzo, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was nice. And it was a couple of nice throws to Edelman. So the issue I have, Robbie, is not just him sustaining whether he can run or not, but what about our wide receivers?
What wide receivers?
There you go. Who's our number one wide receiver? Edelman.
It's like who's on first?
Edelman, and he's already questionable for the game.
Yeah.
He's already on the questionable list for the game. So I think we need to go out and get at least one more guy. We need to get one more guy. And I don't think N'Keal Harry played a bad game. I think he played a very good game. There was only one time that he made that big mistake. But other than that, I think he played a really good game. I think he was pretty good with the run. I think he helped block during the runs. And I think he played a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Other than that one thing.
Yeah, that one mistake where he caught the ball up in the end zone. Other than that, I think you're right. I think he did play really well. I thought receivers, again, it's the same sort of story as it was last year. Our receivers have been sort of the big question mark. And that's the thing. If Cam is forced to throw the ball more, which I think you're absolutely right. I think he is going to be. Forced to throw the ball more coming up on Sunday night. But I think that, big question marks. I think that I don't know if he can. What am I? It says sorry. I've lost my train of thought here for a second. Oh yeah, now I'm back. Choo choo. Yeah. I think that if he, like I said, my concern is not just the receiving core. My concern is Cam throwing the football, because my concern is watching some of his throws. Even though he completed them, it's not crisp. It's not crisp. It gets some better defenses. I worry that he's going to run into trouble with some of these throws that he is making. I think part of it is the fact that he needs to have quality receivers to throw to. That being said, I think Sunday's just going to be very telling. I think Sunday night's going to be very telling. I think we're going to get a much better read of him and of this Patriots team, especially offensively, than we did on Sunday against the Dolphins. So I think
Bobby, I think the throw that he did to Ryan Izzo was a bullet. There were a couple of ones that were batted down, and I think that he's got to be careful of that, because of the way he throws is a little bit different. He doesn't throw. It's almost like he throws down here versus throwing up here. So I watched him a couple of times, and it turns out that he's kind of, he doesn't throw like over the defense. I think he's got to kind of learn to do that, especially with taller guys who are trying to defend it. Yeah. I think he's got to learn to kind of learn. So, Robbie, what did you think of the Patriots' defense?
I was impressed by them. I think that as I'm not impressed by the Celtics, who, by the way, are currently down by 8 with 10 minutes to go. I was impressed. Gilmore, like we said, was very impressive. Especially getting that steal, that interception. I mean, interception is technically a steal, right?
You are so distracted, dude.
I really
You're
am. It's,
so distracted.
I know. I really am. So go figure. Um, no, I think
Yo
that
versus
I think
basketball versus football.
whatever. Roll with it. I don't care. So I think Gilmore, he had a pick. And yeah, I like I said before, I think the defense just played really well. Maybe albeit for maybe one drive or two. I was impressed. Far more impressed than I was with the offense, to be honest with you. But I thought they did for week one. Again, given no preseason games and all that, I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, I thought they did really well. I thought they certainly kept us in the game. Obviously, you're playing a Dolphins team. Fitzpatrick is horrendous.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm
How
really
is he
surprised
still
we
in
didn't.
this league?
I don't know,
Fitzpatrick
Robbie. I
still
was
in
really
this league?
surprised. I was really surprised they didn't put Tua in.
Yeah.
Really surprised they didn't just throw Tua in to see what he could do, because Fitzpatrick was just horrendous, really, really bad. And I have no idea why he's still in the league, and who knows? I just know that he was horrendous. He has been a Patriots killer, though. He has played fairly well within the last couple of years.
He always seems to play well against us.
In Miami, they played well. But
even week 17 last year when he came in here and beat us and cost us the bye week.
Yeah, exactly. So that's probably why they keep playing him. But I thought the defense was very impressive. I thought the backfield, not as running back. That's not. I thought that the safeties,
defensive backfield
is what I meant to say.
Welcome to the Robbie and Doug have trouble speaking episode.
Speaking and figuring out what sports are. Like we started talking sports yesterday. Yeah, this is our first show. How are you? So I thought the defensive backfield played very, very well. I thought that they are one of some of the best in the league, actually. J.C. Jackson was playing like, well, where did he? And he was playing. Obviously, Stephon Gilmore is, as you said, Stephon Gilmore. Pick six is always good to have, which is great.
Stephon Gilmore.
He stepped right in front of.
Wait, did he have a pick six?
He did. No, he didn't have a.
I don't think he had a pick six.
He did. He picked, but no six. It was a pick, but no six. But that pick was really nice because he went and grabbed that ball, because that ball was going way to the other side. No pick. Pick without the six. Got it. That's the way it goes. So I thought the defense played very, very well. Robbie, talk to me about the kicker. What are we going to do about the kicker?
Yes. Hey, at least
they took him off.
At least he made
All right, so listen. This is what they did. Okay? Nick Folk, whatever his name is.
You're right, Folk.
Effing crappy. I don't know what his name is. Folk.
It's Nick Folk.
Nick Folk.
Yeah, you got it right.
That's him. Yeah,
of course. Right.
Anyway, Nick is not a good kicker. Okay? So what they did was, after the game, they sent him down to the practice squad. And then they just signed him to the 53-man roster.
Well, who else do they have?
There are free agent kickers out there that were better than the free agent kickers last year. I don't understand. This guy is the best one out of the lot? I don't believe that for a minute.
Especially given.
I see Adam Vinatieri's out there. He hasn't retired yet. Get him back in.
How about that? I mean, that field goal was just brutal. That field goal was absolutely brutal. I mean, it just basically, it took off and just went like.
Yeah, but he also tried to hit a 45-yarder, which should be very easy for anybody who kicks these days. A 45-yarder is like nothing these days.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean.
And that one was like.
He's not everybody, apparently.
No, he's not. So I don't know what we're going to do with that. But in games that are close, we're going to need somebody who can kick a 45-yard field goal, 50-yard field goal. and we don't have that.
No.
So tell me what your prediction is. Tell me what your prediction is for this weekend. Seattle. We're
Ooh.
going to Seattle.
Yeah.
And by the way, there are fires out there, so the air quality is not going to be that
It's supposed to be better on Sundays. What I just
Oh, is it?
But yeah, you're right. It definitely could be a factor to some level, regardless.
Yeah. So what's your prediction? Because I know we have this little side thing that we're doing, and I know you already put in your pick. So we're doing picks
I mean, obviously there's sort of my heart pick, and then there's my head pick. My heart says Patriots go in there and pull off an upset. My head says not so fast, my friend. To quote the great Lee Corso of College Game Day. I think that I know it just blew first ever Lee Corso reference on the Sports Blitz, probably the last.
Hopefully.
Backfield. But anyway, this is a tough one. I think it's gonna be closer than the experts predict. However, I hate to say this, but I think I would be less surprised if the Seahawks won than I would be if the Patriots won. So I don't want to come out and say it, but I think that it's gonna be a very, very tough game for the Patriots to win, for sure. And so nothing it can't be done.
You're a Patriots fan, so you're not gonna.
Tough.
You're a Patriots fan, so you're not gonna. You're always bet for them. You're not gonna bet against them, but you're in the back of your head. You're like,
yeah.
well,
I'm weary of the fact that this is gonna be a very, very tough test, and
it will, because Seattle has a great team.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, defense, offense, all phases.
All facets of the game. They are
all phases, as Bill Belichick says.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. It's just gonna be very tough. It's gonna be very tough to go in there and win. So, yeah, we'll have to sort of see what happens, obviously. But yeah, like I said, it's gonna be very, very tough to win. Oh, Kemba just knocked down 3. Celtics are down by 2 with 7 minutes to go. Anyway, what is your prediction? I'm curious to sort of get your take on that subject.
If we had a kicker, I would say we may win by 3, but that's not going to happen. So I guess I'm kind of in your realm too. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game. I think this is going to be. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think it's going to be a good test. So if we somehow lose by a lot, there's always going to be something to work on. And we have to see how we're going to start attacking some of the good teams. Like Seattle, like the Chiefs. How are we going to get by the Chiefs? How's anybody going to get by the Chiefs? So the fact
is,
the
Chiefs going to get by the Chiefs? I mean,
yeah. I think Stephon Gilmore and his brother Stephon Gilmore can get by the Chiefs. So what it comes down to is that my just like you, my Patriots heart says I would love them to win, and I would put I would put them down for a a 3. They win by 3. My mind, my logic says there's no way they're going to win this. But they're going to learn a lot from it, and I think that's the most important part of the whole thing, is that I think they're going to learn a lot. They're going to figure out. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, we should have done that, or we should have done this. I think they're going to figure out kind of how to beat some of these better teams. Because you play
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question. And again, I know we love playing hypotheticals around here as much as the next people, but same Patriots team, the same roster that the Patriots have right now today for this 2020 season. Going against Seattle, same rosters for both teams, except Tom Brady is still a Patriots quarterback. Does that make you how does that make you feel differently in terms of their chances for that game? In this hypothetical.
In the hypothetical, it makes me feel a little bit better, but not a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
Not a lot better.
I agree, because we still don't have receivers. We still don't have. I mean, the
That's
receiver.
correct. We're on the same position. I think that we're in a little bit, just a little bit of a better position because of the fact that we do have a running quarterback, just like Seattle has a running quarterback.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I feel maybe a little tiny bit better about the fact that we may be able to get out of some jams because of the fact that he can run and the way that we're running the ball, even handing it off, is throwing off defenses.
Yeah.
I think it's going to throw off other defenses.
You definitely have to look
at who's got the ball.
You definitely have to be more wary if you're a defensive cam than with Brady, because you could literally be running 3 different options on.
I know we're on. So at this point, Robbie, we're going to start thinking about our final thoughts. Do you have any final thoughts? I know you have something to say before your final thoughts.
Yeah,
what's your final thoughts here?
My first final thought is that I hate technology. Just for the folks at home who may be listening all the way through, in which case, thank you, and may be wondering why this episode seems maybe a little bit choppier than the other ones, because we've had multiple technical difficulties.
No technical difficulties.
With Zoom.
Aliens.
Aliens have been restarting my computer on 2 different occasions now, and it's driving me crazy.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We have fans. The fans are going to watch no matter what happens. It's not a big deal.
I just wanted to throw that out there for the folks at home. Just maybe wondering.
Now they're not going to watch because you gave them a thingy.
As Jason we gave him a what?
You gave him a pre-thing here. You gave him don't watch because we have technical difficulties.
I'm not saying don't watch. I'm not saying don't watch. If you're at home, please watch and please listen. I'm just giving
number one radio thing. Just move on, man.
Move on. I'm moving on.
Moving on up, baby.
Well, you know
to
what?
The big time.
That's probably why I was never on the radio.
Celtics up, man.
Let's go. All right. So my final thought is this: is that obviously we've been talking, a lot about this episode about professional football, and the fact that it did return this week, which we're all very happy about. However, there's another level of football that has also been coming back over the last week or two, and that is college football. And for those of you who know me, who have followed this show, you might know that I root for a certain team here in Massachusetts. The Boston College Eagles. Yes, I know, shocking.
Can't believe it.
I know, right? It's craziness. But they actually open up their 2020 season this weekend with a trip to Duke in Durham, North Carolina. So just want to send them a good luck. Again, with the start of a new season, actually the start of a new era, as they finally begin under first-year head coach Jeff Hafley, who I'm very excited to see him actually be able to coach a game. Coming over from Ohio State, was very excited about that.
Buckeyes!
And now finally get to see. By the way, Big Ten football is coming back.
Go Eagle!
Yes. Doug has been to a BC football game with me, as he could do.
I've been to a few, I thought.
With me, I think you've just been to one football game.
One basketball too.
Yeah. But yeah.
BC.
Yeah, so BC Duke this weekend. Just wanted to wish the Eagles good luck and wish Coach Jeff Hafley good luck in his first official game
from the Ohio
Boston
State
College head football coach. So that's it for my final thoughts tonight, Doug. What about you? What do you have in store for us tonight in your final thoughts?
My final thought is that Tom Brady is a lot like Bill Belichick in more ways than one. He was on an interview with Howard Stern today, and he was on other interviews, and they actually asked him, it wasn't on Howard Stern, but it was another interview, I believe, and they actually asked him about Coach Arians calling him out.
Yes.
And
Very
interestingly enough, it was a 3-word answer. And the answer was, I am the player, he's the coach. And what the biggest thing is, you got to go see this interview, because if you see it, he's on Zoom and you have to see Brady's face. I want to get somebody saying that I saw Brady's face. I saw what it looked like. He looks horrible. It's who knows what's going to go on down there. It's just wild. So interesting. I heard it this afternoon. I didn't see it. I heard it on radio. So he spoke if you didn't know that it was Tom Brady, you would think that it was Bill Belichick saying what he just said. He was not happy about his coach. So I think that's interesting. It should be interesting to see what the reaction is. It's a different offense. It's a different kind of being. Arians said we'll give a little to Brady, but this is the offense that we're doing. And now he's got Godwin that's out with concussion protocols.
Yeah.
He's got somebody else, some other offensive guy who's out. I think it's a running back who's out. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still rooting for Tom, but I just thought it was interesting how he usually doesn't have a problem. Now, Bill's never called him out like that. Bill Belichick's never done that.
No.
But on the flip side of it, he's never sidestepped a question from anybody. This is the first time I've ever heard Brady not happy at all. So I think it's wild, and we'll have to see what goes on with the Celtics. We'll probably talk about that next week.
Yeah, they're down by 5 with less than 2 minutes to go, so hopefully they can, as Marcus Smart misses a 3. All right, out of bounds for the Celtics. Oh boy, this is gut-wrenching stuff right now.
Gut-wrenching in the gut, over here in the gut.
Yeah, in the gut.
In the gut. So that's all I got for this week, man.
For episode 55 in the books.
Episode 55 of the Sports Blitz. Thank you guys very much. Remember, we're on lots of stuff. We're planning on being on other things too and getting some other stuff going. So we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook,
SoundCloud, all over.
We're all over the place. And watch us out there, listen to us, give us your feedback on episodes that you may want to do in the future. We
got some really exciting guests coming up.
We have some guests coming up, including our buddy Kyle. Kyle's coming up very soon too, so we'll see. Yeah. Yep. So I know everybody loves Kyle, so we'll see what's going on, and that's all I got, Robbie. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next week. I'm Doug. That's Robbie over there. There he is, right there. He's right there. Doug, Robbie, Sports Blitz.
See you guys.
See you later.